Welcome to Bugs Live TV. I'm your host, Bugs, and I want to thank you all for joining me here on the first episode. Hopefully, we can get some good stuff going here. A little bit about me before we get started. I've been on two wheels in one form or another, a little over 40 years, I guess. Started out riding dirt bikes as a young kid. I've been on street bikes now, mostly Harleys, a little over 30 years. I'm an Army veteran, biker enthusiast, and recently moved to Clearwater, Florida. I don't even own a car. I'm on two wheels, rain or shine, 365. So from a young age, man, I love bikes. Love the biker community. Knew I wanted to be a part of it. I took off for the Army at 18, about a week out of high school. I left for the Army. I was gone for a while. And when I came back, had to get my life in order. I went through a lot of stuff. Finally got everything in order. And now I'm a school teacher, so surprised everybody that knew me growing up. But yeah, I became a school teacher full time. I teach U.S. and world history. I love it. So, however, being a teacher kind of precluded me from joining any type of a one percenter club, which is the way most people thought I was going to go. Ironically, complete 180 from that. I ended up joining an LEMC. The LEMC that I joined, I chose them after a lot of research simply because they're a good group of guys, man. They get along with everybody. They're not a bunch of holier-than-thou assholes when they're out there riding. Man, they go out there, they get along with everybody, they do things the right way, and I appreciate that. So I ended up joining them, and this allows me to still live the biker lifestyle as best as I can, but also be a teacher. You see, being a teacher, you can't be on anybody's watch list or any of my affiliations, so you got to go through some pretty in-depth background checks. Anyways, I got mad respect for all the different clubs out there. Well, let me take that back. For most of the different clubs out there. Ironically, the clubs that I do have disdain for, they're all LEMCs. You know, you get out there, and just because you're a cop, guess what, man? Doesn't mean you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's not the way it works. Be respectful. Do things the right way. That's what makes a community what it is. You can't be out there thinking that you're better than everybody else and you can do whatever you want. It doesn't work like that. So anyways, like I said, I got mad respect for all those clubs out there. We get along with everybody. We go to a lot of events and we mingle around with a lot of the 1%er clubs as well as 99% clubs. And that's why I like this place, man. We get along with everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and attend as many events as I can and provide coverage of those. At Bike Week, I'm going to Biketoberfest here in Daytona in October. Looking forward to that. I'm going to try and hit as many different events as I can. We're also going to interview people that are prominent in the biker life, and we'll talk about the different clubs around the area, the culture, cigar bars. I know I like cigars. A lot of the other guys do as well, so we'll talk about that and anything else that's brought up. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, whatever, just shoot me an email. I'll answer them, see if we can bring it to the show. My email is nope, that's a lie. It's 5665bugs@gmail.com. That's 5665bugs@gmail.com. So on with the show. Today, we are going to speak a little bit about formations and riding in groups, what to do, what not to do. I recently attended a group ride. There's about 400 bikes there for this ride. It was a shit show right from the get-go. There was no blockers for the turnoffs, nobody stopped traffic, stoplights or stop signs or nothing. So by the time we took off, within the first mile, it was already over with. Could have been an awesome event if people knew how to ride in a group formation and if we had people to block traffic to keep all the bikes together like you're supposed to. Wasn't like that. So I got some different video clips we'll show you. Right here in the beginning, you can see the idiot that's behind me. He tries to break off and break ranks. So when we took off, there was about 30 the VIPs that went, and then the other bikes all fell in right behind them. And he tries to jump off and jump in with the VIPs. I was the very first bike to leave after the VIPs, so I was right up front. And then, yeah, as soon as they left, they took off like their ass was on fire and just left everyone to try and catch up. So there's massive gaps in the formation, cars jumping in. It was just terrible. It could have been a great ride. It really could have. It just didn't work out that way. So, once again, thank you for joining me. This is our first episode. I hope you like it. And please remember to subscribe, like the video, and share it with your friends. Thanks. Alright, so this guy that you see here, he's trying to move out into the VIP line. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm in front of him. And here they push him back in because, well, you just don't do that kind of stuff. You stay in formation. You're going to see we take off here in just a second, and the guys behind me are way behind me. I'm taking off and staying up with the leaders of the group. Here we go. So now we take off. And as soon as we get around this turn, you can see how much distance there is. And then that distance gets worse and worse. When you're riding a formation, man, you gotta stay assholes to elbows. That's how you prevent the slinky effect. So everybody stays together. And then the group leaders, they shouldn't have taken off that fast. You're gonna see as soon as they turn out on the road, I hang with them, and man, we're just gone. It's balls to the walls. We'll leave the rest of the group behind, and it's just stupid. Look how much distance there is between me and the guys behind me. That's not how it's supposed to be. The leaders of this group should have slowed the hell down, not taking off like that, and given everybody a chance to get out on that road and stick together. And they didn't do that. By the time we got to our first turn up here, people had still not even left the dealership yet. I hate to say it, it was a great cause that we were riding for, but this whole ride really got off on a rough start with the way everybody took off and the amount of distance in between bikes. You can see here they're starting to catch up a little bit. There's still way too much distance there. You only need about one bike length in between bikes, especially when we're not at highway speeds. We're just 35, 45 miles an hour probably, so no reason to have that much distance. So you can't really see it, but that same guy that jumped formation up there, he took off and started creating some gaps in front of us and kind of going in and out. And these two vehicles, they literally cut right in front of us. So I went around them to stay with the rest of the pack. And by the time I got around those two vehicles and got up here on this ramp, they were gone already. I had to really haul ass to keep up with them. The leaders, they did not wait for anybody, and that created a huge problem, as you'll see while we're going down the highway, there's a tremendous amount of space in between us all, and nothing resembled a formation at all. And then eventually on the highway, almost about the time we finally got to the bridge, things started to come together a little bit better and looking like a formation, and then we pull into the rest area at the Skyway Bridge. As you can see, by now it's at least starting to look like somewhat of a formation. It's not a good one by any stretch of the imagination. There's still a lot of back and forth and slinking going on, but at least they're starting to come together by this point. We're about 3/4 of the way through our ride too. You can see a car that just came up off the on-ramp, and he actually pulled over and waited for everybody. That's what a car is supposed to do. I was pretty happy with him for that. There he is right there. We're going along the bay here, and we're getting ready to come up on some pretty scenic stuff. One thing I can say about Florida, it's got some of the prettiest roads next to the coast of California and Maine I think I've ever ridden on. Can't stand California, but they do have a very pretty coast to ride on. Go ahead and slow it down here for just a minute, and hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of how pretty it is there. I know it's hard to tell with the GoPro fixed in one spot, but it's a pretty special place. Here we are at the apex of the bridge, the top of the bridge, and the views here are absolutely stunning. Even the bridge itself is just really pretty, and the way they have it lit up at night, and going up all those cables and steel girders and stuff. It's a pretty neat experience. We are pulling into the rest area here at the end of the Skyway Bridge. And I wish I'd have thought about it. I'd have pulled my GoPro off and stood there and filmed all the bikes coming in. It took probably 10 minutes or so for all the bikes to file in there. And then once we pulled in, you'll see a couple of semi-trucks spread out. We went to the left of the semi-trucks, probably a good 4 or 5 spaces, maybe more, and filled all that area in, and then we actually went in between those two trucks and filled that area in as well. It was pretty spectacular to see how many bikes were there, and I was even more impressed that we were able to get there and nobody actually had an accident. Thank God for that. But the way they were riding, I thought for sure something was going to happen. On the way back, it was a whole nother story though. We didn't have any accidents, but man, it was even worse on the way back. I had people riding up next to me, 3 or 4 different ones that wasn't even the same person. They kept leaving and breaking formation and going doing something else. And then I had a scooter, like a highway scooter of some sorts. I don't know what it was, but he thought he needed at least 3/4 of the lane, if not more, half the time. So I had to stagger a little bit behind him, and then he finally took off, and I had, I don't know, probably at least 3 or 4 other bikes that all rode in next to me. And one of the biggest things I noticed, man, you got to practice, okay? If you can't ride on your 1/3 of the lane, then even when you're by yourself, go out there and practice. Get on that 1/3 of a lane, the tire treads of the vehicles, all right? That's your area. And just practice riding and staying there. Even going around turns, stay on your side of the lane and just practice. If you still can't do it, get a lighter bike, because obviously that bike is too much for you. But that's one of the most important things about riding in formation, is staying in your lane, staying in your area of the lane, I should say. So go out there, work on that, and hopefully I get to see you soon. Go out on a ride together. Alright guys, so that was a video. I hope that just by watching what not to do, you kind of learn what you should do. So just remember, when you're riding in a formation, any little mistake you make can have dire consequences on everybody behind you. So whenever you're riding, you don't have half a lane, you have 1/3 of a lane. Keep that in mind. Also, you don't want to put a lot of space between you and the guy in front of you. Just leave about a bike length. And pay attention. Look ahead of you while you're riding to make sure that you don't rear end anybody. But keep it tight. That way nobody can squeeze in there and interrupt your formation. Have a set route that you're going to take before you leave. Make sure that you have a road captain up front that knows the route. Riding either a staggered or a side-by-side formation, but make sure you point that out before the ride so you know which one you're supposed to be riding in. Obviously if the road gets narrow or cars are too close or there's a bad spot in the road or something, then you might end up going from side-by-side to staggered and then back to side-by-side. So you have to be adaptable also. Don't take off, if you're in the front, don't take off like a bat out of hell and just leave everybody to catch up, because it's hard to catch up like that. So just take it easy out front, wait till everybody's in the group, accelerate slowly, keep a good distance in front of you so you don't have to do any emergency braking unless it's absolutely necessary. And, once you got your spot in your formation, fucking stay there, man. Don't be moving around in the formation unless you absolutely have to, but stay in your spot in the formation. That causes problems whenever you're moving all over the place. And then other people got to fill in that spot. So just stay there in the formation where you're supposed to be. That's your spot. Own it. And make sure you watch out for things on the side of the road. Point them out with your foot while you're riding so that people behind you can know what's there. If you're going to switch lanes, signal with your hands too, not just a turn signal. Use your hands. Let everybody behind you know, and then let them start from the back. You want to switch lanes or make turns or something from the back first so that it kind of acts as a traffic blocker. Unless you're getting off on an on-ramp or something where you can't do that, then obviously. But just for like switching lanes and stuff, start from the back and then move your way forward. Let's see here. If you got a Honda, BTX or Shadow or Kawasaki, Yamaha, one of the metric bikes, cruisers, they look good. That's cool. Don't straight pipe it and then run your bike in third and fourth gear down the highway because you think it sounds badass at 6,000 RPMs. It doesn't. It's incredibly annoying. I had on that ride on the way back, I had a BTX that was next to me running, and I had to guess third gear probably. His bike was at like 6,000 RPMs the whole time with straight pipes, and it's the most annoying sound I think I've ever heard for that long. So it's not cool. Don't do it. Just ride it normal. Um, I think that's about all I got for you right now, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. It's a work in progress, so it'll get better as time goes on and get some interviews in here and get things laid out. So I appreciate you joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Help me build this channel out. I appreciate it. Thank you.